Good morning, Friendship United Methodist Church. I'd like to welcome you on this 25th day of February 2024. Our gospel selection this morning comes from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 8, verses 31 through 38. Now, in the business world and nonprofit world today, there's a lot that revolves around what we talk elevator speeches. If we run into someone in an elevator and they ask us about our cause or our startup business or our church, we should be able to give them a quick summary. What would you say? Just short enough to fit into an elevator ride. And when people ask about my church or Friendship United Methodist Church, I say something like, Friendship United Methodist Church lives up to its name. Friendship shows from the moment you darken the door. We have persons who strive in many ways, from singing in the choir to filling the pulpit on occasion, to feeding the hungry with our food pantry, small groups, prayer shawl ministry, upper room Bible study, supporting Florida's Children's Home. We're mostly a Q-tip congregation. By that I mean we're mostly white-headed, with members from a variety of northern and midwestern states. And in the winter we have a considerable number of snowbirds. And if we're going to the 10th floor, I can say a lot more than that. But, it's just fitting it in that short period of time. We seem to be moving more and more, from fast foods. It started, and on and on and on, faster vehicles. Everything's fast, so we want to say what we can in as little as time to get our point across. Now, Jesus, always the master communicator, always, is giving the disciples his version of an elevator speech here in Mark, the core of what he's trying to teach them. We can feel the focus of the gospel shift now. The first 8 chapters of Mark make the case for who Jesus is. And he shows us and he tells us by his healings, his meals, his teachings, in everything that he says and does. But now the story shifts, turns a page, and Jesus begins to make his way towards where? Jesse. Yeah, Jerusalem. Yeah. And as he goes, he asks his friends, what are people saying about me? Okay? They offer up various answers, no doubt leaving out the negative ones. And then he asks who they think he is. Oh, I can just imagine the looks that pass between them. And you tell him. No, you can hear them you can sense they're saying that, And how many nights around the campfire, we wonder, did they talk about this when Jesus wasn't there? They're sitting there talking. How many meals when they sat in the background and watched? How many healings when they saw the change with their own eyes made them wonder and talk about this when Jesus wasn't around? You know what I mean, don't you? When someone's not around, you talk about the deeds that they do, And so it's just, they're normal people like us. But now Peter steps up with the answer he must have been wondering and weighing and thinking about the Messiah. And he's got it half right. He's got it half right. We get it half right too, guys. A lot of popular religion we find in the media and in the Christian bookstores, they mean well. They're well-intentioned. The TV preachers talk about a life of deeper faith, and we need that. But it looks a lot like the American success story when they paint it out. Shiny, well-fed people with seemingly perfect lives try to convince us that if we're true Christians, we'll never struggle again. Money will pile up so fast we won't know what to do with it. Struggles with alcohol and drugs will be gone, vanished with no effort. Calories won't exist. Our aches and pains will vanish. and bad bosses will turn into pussycats. Certainly, we'll never swear at drivers in traffic or lose our tempers at home ever again. It all sounds so good that we want to believe it. And yet, part of us knows that it's too good to be true. Once while I was in seminary, a well-known preacher came to address the students during the morning chapel, and we gathered expectantly on those wooden benches, the pews that had seen a lot of preachers come and go. And as we listened, he talked for a long time about his perfect marriage of 35 years, his 5 children, 4 of whom were living perfect lives. And he went on so long that a friend of mine, Dennis, leaned over and said, "Aren't you just praying that the 5th kid is a Hare Krishna somewhere?" As author Brennan Manning says, most of the descriptions of the victorious life do not really match that of my own. Things you read and hear create the impression that once Jesus is acknowledged as Lord, the Christian life becomes a picnic on green grass, green lawn, no dew on it, everything, there are no bugs. Yeah. Marriage blossoms into connubial bliss. Physical health flourishes. Acne disappears. And sinking careers suddenly soar. Yeah. The victorious life is proclaimed to mean that everyone is a winner. An attractive 20-year-old accepts Jesus and becomes Miss America. Yeah. A floundering lawyer conquers alcoholism and whips F. Lee Bailey in court. A 10th round draft choice for the Pittsburgh Steelers, goes to the Pro Bowl. Miracles occur, conversions abound, church attendance skyrockets, ruptured relationships get healed, shy people become gregarious, and the Cubs win the World Series. Wow. If you don't get this kind of perfection, we feel like we missed out on the life of faith. But Jesus, here in Mark, Jesus is saying, no, you've got it all wrong. It's the struggles. It's taking up your burdens and the burdens of the world that give life to faith. Peter has this happy vision of faith too. And he can't imagine a Messiah who will suffer and die. It's all a bed of roses, to suffer and die, that's failure. Peter tries to rebuke Jesus, and the same word the gospel uses for casting out demons is what he uses. And Jesus comes right back at him. He has to understand this to get it. Jesus rebukes Peter again with the same word that's used for casting out demons. If you want to follow, and Jesus is clear that we have a choice, if you want to follow, we have a choice. This is the path that you have to take. So it's not a perfect day. Day after perfect day. What does it mean to follow Jesus in our world? That's the mystery of faith leads us to explore day after day, month after month, year after year. And that's the question we ask Jesus as we live out our everyday faith. Jesus is telling us who he is and who we should be also. He's talking about the core of his work, the core of our life as disciples. We live our faith in the answer to his questions. Who do you say I am? Jesus asked. Can you follow me? Can you take up a cross? Your cross. Can you take up your cross? Face the burdens of your life and the cares of the world? He asks these questions for us. He asks these questions for us. So I'm asking you today. And we have questions too, don't we? It's by, it works both ways. Faith demands that we ask ourselves these things. Does my work use the talents God has given me? I mean, however we spend our days, whether it's raising kids or paid work or volunteer work or however, am I using the talents that God has given me? Do my relationships show the love and grace of God? Very important. Do my relationships show the love and grace of God? In the way I talk to my friends, my neighbors, my spouse, my significant other, my kids, am I talking to the face of God in them? Does my life show evidence of God? Am I growing in some way, or have I gotten stuck? Am I in a rut? What do I regret? If I had 3 months to live, what would I want to fit into my life? These questions and others like them pointing us to what really matters and to where God would have us to go. They are signposts showing where we're unhappy, missed something, going too fast. They lead us into the mystery of how we follow God in the places where we are, with the gifts that we have. Mm-hmm. Maybe we need a signpost out by the road here with those questions on it, like Key West so many miles, or Chicago so many miles, San Francisco, Yeah. But these questions, where are we unhappy? Where are we missing something in our lives? Are we going too fast? And at the center of it all, there are questions that give meaning to all the others. Who do you say that I am? That's what Jesus asked. Who do you say I am? Can you pick up your cross and follow me? Can you face your burdens and care for the needs of others? As one writer says, as life picks up speed and I clock more days and weeks and years, I accumulate more suffering. The human tendency seems to be to fight the difficult parts of life, as if by resisting them, we can skip to the good stuff or set a few extra goals to overcome the suffering. But there's no entry into Christ's presence, friends. Listen up. There's no entry into Christ's presence without the cross. No one has to go looking for one. The cross finds you. We all have one. The cross finds us, guys. And the cross is different for each one of us, Anne. A cross that fits our strength to carry it and the service we can give. A cross that uses our struggles and heartache to connect us to the hurt of the world, Alice. A cross that uses our sorrow as much as our strength, John. We can lament that we don't have a picture-perfect life, or we can turn and pick up the crosses in our lives. Pick up the cross of recovery, or the cross of the ill family member, or inclusion, of chemotherapy, of getting home in time for family time, of anger management, of trust. Pick up the cross of helping someone with no discernible benefit, of serving somewhere new, of talking to someone that you don't agree with and have nothing in common with, and move more deeply into faith. That's the core of our faith, friends. taking up the cross, following the Jesus who loves and serves. That's our elevator speech, okay? That's the essence of our faith. That's what is on Jesus' business card, if you will, and it should be on ours as well. The answer to the mystery of faith and the entrance into the kingdom of God. We have to carry the cross. Amen.